Good morning, students. It is the lesson from Indigo class 12, and here I will tell you about Indigo. It is the second video, and so I will tell you about the life of Mahatma Gandhi when he came to Muzaffarpur, one of the big cities after Patna, the capital of Bihar. Now it is, but this is also a very prominent city, which from there he had to go to Champaran, that is known as Motihari, and how he came and how he went there and how he was welcomed by a large number of professors, that you will understand. How he just suggested those professors, teachers who welcomed him, and there were J.B. Kripalani and some other teachers who harbored him in Muzaffarpur, and he just wanted not to be disturbed. So what did he suggest? That you will understand. So here it is the thing that you have to know. Here I would like to just remind the few lines to recapitulate that I told you in the first video so that you can have a better understanding. Months passed. Shukla was sitting on his haunches at the appointed spot in Calcutta. When Gandhi arrived, he waited till Gandhi was free. The two of them boarded a train for the city of Patna in Bihar. There Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad, who later became president of the Indian National Congress and of India. Rajendra Prasad was out of town at that time, but the servants knew Shukla as a poor peasant who restored their master to help the indigo sharecroppers. So they let him stay on the grounds with his companion Gandhi, whom they took to be another peasant. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well, so that some drops from his bucket would pollute the entire source of the water in the well. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? When he was told by his master Rajendra Prasad, the servants realized that very mistake. So Gandhi decided to go to Muzaffarpur first, which was en route to Champaran. Means to reach Champaran, he had to go to Muzaffarpur. There was arts college. There was BB Collegiate. The school is still existing, which now it is known as Langat Singh College, and how it became famous, that you will understand. So to obtain more complete information about conditions that than Shukla was capable of imparting, means Rajkumar Shukla was not able to give him the complete information as he was illiterate. He was not so well educated. He did not have so much calculations. He accordingly sent a telegram. In those days, the urgent messages were sent through telegrams, and it was Professor J.B. Kripalani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur. It was a very famous college at that time, whom he had seen at Tagore Santiniketan School. Means Mahatma Gandhi had seen J.B. Kripalani at Tagore's. Who is this Tagore? Rabindranath Tagore, who founded Santiniketan School. The train. The train arrived at midnight, 15 April 1917. It is the story of 1917. You are reading this very story after 103 years. Kripalani was a well-known professor. He also joined the cabinet after India got independence. He was waiting at the station with a large number of students. Gandhi stayed there for 2 days. Where? In the home of Professor Malkani. Who was that very professor? A teacher in a government school. That I told you, BB Collegiate Government School. It was an extraordinary event. Why? Because in those days, people were so much afraid of the British administration who just harbored a person who revolted against the British rule, and he was a very great political leader of India. So, Gandhi commented, for a government professor to harbor a man like him, it is very difficult. He was afraid that Professor Malkani would have to leave his job. He would be dismissed. He would be sent to jail. But he had that great courage. In smaller localities, the Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates of home rule. It says, means those who advocated for home rule, they were punished. The news of Gandhi's advent and of the nature of his mission spread quickly through Muzaffarpur. Where did this message come? This message came to Champaran that Gandhi has arrived and their liberator has come. Harbinger of freedom has come. The problem would be solved. Sharecroppers from Champaran began arriving on foot and by conveyance to see their champion. Means earlier they had this very knowledge spread that he is the man who did something in South Africa. He boycotted the British, and this information came as his stories had spread through the newspaper that he is a man of great indomitable courage. This man who had nothing but had everything. His mind was so strong, his heart was so strong. He knew how to fight against the injustice done to the Indians. Muzaffarpur lawyers called on Gandhi to brief him. Means he addressed them. They frequently represented peasant groups in court. These were the lawyers who came to fight their cases. They told him about their cases and reported the size of their fee. You can understand. These eminent advocates had very big fee that was unaffordable for the farmers. For that reason, Gandhi scolded the lawyers. Chided means scolded the lawyers for collecting big fee from the sharecroppers who were so poor. He said, why has he come? And he just concluded. He had come to the conclusion that they should stop going to law courts. Now, no fees. Means he decided that these sharecroppers would not go to law courts because date after date, fee after fee, and it was impossible for the sharecroppers to pay. Taking such cases to the courts does little good. Means it would not be useful, it would be in vain, fruitless, where the peasants are so crushed and fear stricken. Law courts are useless, he said. The real relief for them is to be free from fear. Means it was the point that Gandhi wanted to inject in the mind of the Indian sharecroppers and the Indians, that if they are true, if they are genuine, they live in their own country, they need not be afraid of the British. Why? It was lack of their confidence. He knew that these are the British who are so cruel that they would understand how torturous they are, how oppressive they are. But Indians must understand, however oppression is so big, they would not deter from the demand of their freedom, from the shackles of the financial conditions and the revenues that were levied to them. It was injustice that he liked to tell. The real relief for them is to be free from fear that he wanted. Most of the arable land in the Champaran district was divided into large segments. So here children, I would like to tell you something more in the next video. Thank you children. I think you would like it, understand it, and you can answer the questions that will be asked, whether it is objective or subjective. You will just match the words. Number of limitation of words is to be followed. Thank you children. Thank you.